everybody. Welcome back to another episode on the Simply Evolving podcast. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. House notes. I do have a couple uploads on my personal YouTube. So for my personal YouTube, my plan is just to be able to give you guys, like I said, a more inside scoop on who I am as an individual. I would say I have like mini podcasts on that playlist under or on that platform under the playlist of Huddles on the Go. I'll be doing things like cooking, just things that kind of like express myself in a non-educational teaching matter. I just think there's a place for everything, so I want a place to where you guys can, like, I feel like we're all coming from all different walks of life, so I think that being able to have a place to where you may find something that you like that I do that you can incorporate in your life as a healing tool or just to something to do as recreational fun. So yeah. So I will I will be posting on that platform on Wednesdays. And then the podcast platform, which is this, I'll be posting on Fridays. So that is my posting schedule. So turn your notifications on, so therefore you can always be notified when a new episode, or I don't know if I might do like a little impromptu things on this platform as well, on the YouTube channel if you're listening on the various podcasting platforms that are out there. Depending on the podcast platform, I might do like little bonus things here and there. I do plan on also doing a bonus video just to give you guys some details if anyone wants to start a podcast. So I did one on the old podcast platform as a bonus, so I can do it here as well. That won't take long to edit at all. So think that's about it. So I think if you follow me on Spotify, they have some interactions on there, like on Apple you can leave a review. I'm not sure about iHeartRadio. I just add that to my RSS distributor. What else am I on? I'm also on Google Podcasts, so I'm not really aware of that platform, but I just want to try to make sure that I am as accessible as possible because everyone has different, devices. So hopefully I covered them all. If I have not, please let me know. And whatever, I guess you might be seeing this on YouTube, because if you don't have the podcast platform, primarily like Apple or Spotify, then you won't be seeing it there. But if this becomes a clip somewhere, then let me know wherever you're seeing this, and I will add the RSS file so I can make sure that you're covered for your comfort place. I did also start a what's it called? It starts with a P. Hold on. Let me see. I started a Patreon account. I'm still working on tweaking that out. I don't know. It's weird. Like the accessibility for creators is a little bit different, so I am still trying to figure that out. So yeah. What else can I say? I think that's all about yeah. That's all the house notes that I have for right now. So today's topic, this actually came from I guess this is my own way of adding to the conversation from the podcast Harley Initiated. I follow them on Apple Podcasts. And Dr. Jerome, let me make sure I'm saying his name correctly. Hold on, let me pull it up. I follow him on Instagram. Jermone Glenn, he did such a wonderful job on explaining Kingdom. Like, there are some things on their platform that I wouldn't say I actually 100% agree with, but I do appreciate, some of the people who they've had on there that I've seen around. So he was just basically talking about, like, he had this comment talking about girlfriend and boyfriend dynamics and how basically it is a mockery of Kingdom. Now, we all know that the devil, the adversary, whatever you want to do or say here on earth, knows the Bible. He understands kingdom, but all he does here on earth is perverts it. So when you think about it, it's kind of like, because, and it's really scary because I had a conversation on my TikTok, because I actually posted a short convo on there, and people were commenting on it, and they were just like, well, how do you get to know somebody, and da 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 da, like, and it's just the fact that a lot of times we are truly just only caught up in experiencing that person. Now, I totally agree that Lauren London said, you are here to experience a person, you don't own that person. But at the same time, you have to be intentional with exactly your goal is of experiencing with that person. Like, are you just trying to have fun with that person? Or are you trying to like get to know them so therefore you can understand your morals and your standards and your expectations? Do they meet those things? Are they capable of meeting those things? A lot of times we get so caught up in the what would you call it? We get so caught up in just the everyday mundane things, and especially with social media now, having all these boo and bae types of goals and things, we kind of get very carried away. I remember being younger. So funny. And when I was like younger, people be like, Ebony, you're still young. But when I was younger, before I really started to date, I would be like, oh my God, like it would be so funny because like I would typically restrict myself when it came to dating. So it wasn't even like the people who I was talking to, their fault, nor was it really my parents' fault. I guess wasn't safe enough, I guess, to date. But I'd be like, oh, they're trying to invite me here and there and da 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 da. And that'll be like really my only like, you're really fantasizing about those things, and it feels good. It does feel good to be able to experience those things that you're seeing, because it's like it's actually an enjoyable experience. But I think we have to get to a point to where we're not only worried about having enjoyable experiences, and then 99% of the time out of that experience is toxicity. So I think that's very important. So basically, I did a little digging, and it's crazy because as I am on this new journey with God and allowing Him to lead me and being submitted unto Him through all of my decision making and things of that nature, I don't have any type of anxiety when it comes to dating anymore, because I just feel like, well, first of all, I have to acknowledge this within myself. Like, first of all, I feel like when you come out of the matrix, I'm gonna call it that, and you have to realize of the things that you've done wrong, like taking personal accountability for your actions and things that you've allowed. I think it's important to understand, like, what will this look like for me? And a lot of times we end up having to kind of battle against what we used to do and get comfortable in actually standing firm on our standards and things of that nature. Like, sometimes you may think that you're being kind of harsh, or even just loving yourself in general. Like, sometimes you think like, oh, I'm being this, I'm being that. Like, why did I respond that way? But I had to tell myself in certain situations, like, Ebony, this is what your new normal will look like for you. Yes, it feels uncomfortable because this is your first time standing up for yourself, or this is the first time that you are making sure that you properly communicate and not shrinking because you want to people please. So understand that it will be a new normal once you really get to the point where you're like, you know what, I need to stand on my non-negotiables. I need to stand on my standards to make sure that I'm doing things to get the best possible outcome. So that's that. And what I also noticed was I personally feel, this is just my personal revelation, I feel a lot of times that the girlfriend and boyfriend stage, a lot of times, I can even talk for myself, how that used to be a goal for me, for someone to just claim me. And all they had to do is just claim me by their words. But it's like, okay, at that point, then what? You know? Because then it's like, okay, once you get to this point, a lot of times, like, me, a lot of times as women, we don't really pressure the man to, like, really be on a timeline. It's like you really end up giving the guy that you're talking to a lot of grace. You know what I'm saying? Because basically you just want to feel content to know that you have this false sense of security that he's claiming you. Meanwhile, you're experiencing each other and you're going to be basically um taking away tally marks or adding them on, and it just depends on your feelings. So a lot of times, like I said, because it's nothing that actually is like there's no covenant there, you really have no reason to like want to be held accountable past your feelings. So it's like there is really, like I said, it's a false sense of security that we are striving for. I'm taking myself out of the equation because I'm no longer using the word boyfriend and girlfriend, okay? I don't personally think, what is the point to, now it depends on your starting point, also depends on the maturity of the person that you were talking to, but I truly feel like, what's the point of being a boyfriend and girlfriend for how many years? And then you're going to be engaged for how many years? Like, and you truly think that through all the ups and downs you guys have, that's why cheating and stuff like that can be so normalized? Because it's like, at the end of the day, I'm really not, just because I have a child with you or just because we have this business together, I'm really not obligated to do anything for you. You're just a person who I'm laying around with at the end of the day. So it's kind of like, oh, okay. So I feel as women, we need to start to learn to really feel, you have to learn how to feel confident within yourself to know that, hey, I do truly care about you as an individual, but at the same time, like, okay. And there's other people who are just as capable as you may feel that you are of like caring for somebody. You can have a strong, and I think sometimes what the process is, we truly don't really know during the dating is, do I really just have a strong care and liking for this person, or do I truly love them? Because I feel like if you truly love that person, then you wouldn't need to try to keep testing them. I feel like a lot of times dating, it is truly testing that person's character, but for how long? For how long? Because at the end of the day, truly, there's always going to be something that's going to change about us. So it's either you're going to say, I can deal with this person's ups and downs, or I cannot. You don't need 2, 3, 4, 5 years to test that, then say, okay, let me test a little bit longer with this engagement, then get married. So let's take it back to Bible, okay? Remember, and this all falls down to, I can't exactly say it because I am a new Christian, okay? But the serpent came after Eve's identity. As we grow as a woman, the reason to why you're in these situations and then things are getting dragged out, y'all please excuse the lighting if it's going back and forth. I'm not about to record this over again because, okay, but listen. He came after Eve's identity. Adam knew exactly who he was. He was able to identify Eve's purpose and the benefit that she will bring to him. He knew that him waking up and seeing her there in the garden, it was not a mate for nobody else but for him. He was flesh of her. She was of his flesh. So he knew who she was, right? Adam already had a stable relationship with God, okay? So then you have somebody who has not really spent that much time building, okay, with God, come along with this serpent and saying, I see, picking on your insecurities. I know what you're missing, right? He gave Adam, okay, the responsibility of naming everything, of identifying all the stuff. As this is a key. Men are identifiers. Father's Day is coming up. Listen. So, or they give identity. So here she come, right? She hasn't had that revelation with God yet to be able to get her identity. So there is a lack there. There's a void there. I want to say this for all the ladies out there who have father wounds, right? So come on, God. Okay, so in a sense, you end up that's what that feed. Ooh, that's what that feeds. The false sense of security that you're getting typically comes because there is a father wound, and I want you to remember this. Just because your father is there in the home does not mean he's giving you identity. Somebody can be physically there but absent mentally, right? So, if not absent 100%. So then I know what you missed. So we get that false sense of security there, right? With the boyfriend and girlfriend thing. And 10 times out of 10, long as you kind of get the identity that I'm somebody's, I'm somebody's, when you really say I'm God's daughter, okay? and because I'm God's daughter, he's made things for me to help benefit me as a woman. I know who my purpose is. I know what I'm here to do, whether you're supposed to be here and be single, whether you're supposed to be here and create a family with your husband, okay? So the affliction that we had to go through because she ate the apple and got all this wisdom and saw her nakedness. Now we have the, and any theoretical things you want to pull out of there, that's fine. But from my understanding, so just travel with me as I'm going through this. So then we have the difficult childbirths that came from that, right? And the strong desire for men relationship, right? But at the same time, we're not understanding the purpose of a thing. So the quickest and easiest, the most attainable thing, word of mouth, that you can get makes you feel fulfilled. And this is what he said. If you aspire to be a girlfriend, you would never be able to become a wife because they don't speak the same language. The reason to why we're getting less than our value when it comes to the people we're dating in these prospects is because you're still acting like a counterfeit wife. Here I am. I can attest to it. I've done the same thing. Because you're not understanding your purpose. You're not understanding your kingdom identity. You're not understanding your kingdom agenda here for this earth, which you were put on this earth to fulfill. Because when you can rest in the Lord, okay, and say, I know God wants, look, I'm able to say, Lord, I know I have a strong desire that you put here in my heart to start a family. That does not mean that's who I am. I know that the only thing I know that while that may be one of the greatest accomplishments that I will be able to achieve here on earth, because I'm claiming it, okay? I will be having children with my husband, okay? But it's just the fact that, like, that's not the end all be all. And in the end time, because I'm resting in the Lord, knowing that I don't have to be anxious or anything for anything. However, which way I have to release that way of thinking of how it shall come and what that picture should look like. And resting that he knows what will fit and soothe my personality. So when I able to rest in him, I don't have to worry about trying to settle for something else, because I know that the man that God has for me will be intentional with me. Because it's a bunch of confusion still. You ever notice? You ever notice, okay, so during the dating process, typically we go through this talking phase, confusion. What is talking? What are you talking about? What data are you truly getting? Because a lot of times data, this dating is just like a rubric of trying to figure out your value based on social norms. Basically, how many men have you been with? So what's your body count? What else? How much money do you make? Your wounds. So therefore, I can learn places of exploitation, what I can do with you to manipulate you, so we can listen. And this goes both ways, really. We're learning out all these voids, but not truly learning how to fulfill those things, right? Because typically, like I said, not like I said because I didn't say it yet, but we come here selfish. Mine. We have to be renewed by Christ and the renewing of our mind to be able to know how to get out of selfishness. So until a man is renewed, he's not gonna be able to really be able to like come to you like, okay, what about us from the get go? Because when you're doing an equation for us, you're saying, okay, this is what I want, this is what you want. How do we compromise in that? How would this look like in our life? Not just what's your goal? Because a lot of times we be asking certain questions so we can determine what can we get? How does this benefit me? And I'm not saying that when you're dating somebody, you should not get understanding of how this benefits you. At the same time, learning like, how does this complement me? How does this add to my life? Because if you keep going on the notion of how does this benefit me, how does this benefit me, then a lot of times that's a place that you're trying to manipulate and deplete from. That's your self-serving. So at the same time, you need to be careful, ladies, that you're not, going out here and getting praise on these accolades that you're able to achieve, because you setting yourself up. You're not what you've achieved. You're more than that, because your partner is not going to be here your partner is not dealing with Dr. You, teacher you, lawyer you, esthetician you, motivational speaker you. He's dealing with, I don't feel like doing this today. The PMS you. He's dealing with the family drama you. He's dealing with the pregnancy symptom you. He's dealing with the childbirth you, the postpartum you. So let's hold on. We have to start living from that little girl, okay? And understanding what was her desires and her wants. Right? Because in a sense, we be using that for manipulation as well, as far as I'm concerned. Because at the same time, you trying to play chess and he playing checkers because you not a man. Men size each other up by it's this game that we're playing. Men size each other up by their net worth. You assume because that's what he's doing that you can do the same thing. No, that's not your purpose. You aren't here to protect and provide. You're able to do that for yourself in the meantime. That's not your purpose. Where is your Eve? Where is the Eve that understands her kingdom agenda? Because as long as you're operating with this girlfriend, boyfriend, counterfeit mindset, you're lost. I'm not a girlfriend. I'm somebody's whole wife. I'm somebody's whole mother. You know what I'm saying? Because this is why you take on the role as a wife. Because that's your nature. That's what you were here put to do. But now you're upset because you got duped. You know what I'm saying? You're forgetting that's your nature. So you pour. You multiply. It takes a lot of energy. You can't even help it. There's some people who probably, a little more laid back. But for majority of people, you can't even help it but to pour into his vision and this and that and help him and help him and help him and help him and help him. You are here to help him. You're to help me. Why are you trying to disassociate yourself from your kingdom DNA, which you were innately put here to do? You playing yourself. We're playing ourselves, trying to act like, oh, it ain't that bad, or I'm a tone down. Like, let's stop all this manipulation, please. Wherever your Eve is, your true kingdom identity is where your Adam will be. When and where did the adversary steal your identity? What made you start to feel like, what was it that once you got into a relationship made you feel that you could settle in this space and find comfort where you currently are? Right? Why do you feel like you're not worth it? God claims you. Why can't he? God's huh? Huh? So lie your life down for a man who you've had children with, um, whether they're still here or not, whatever your decisions may have been, and you don't think that's worth something? That the least that he could do is claim you like how your father does? That he's able to claim you through everything that you've been through? And still sees your value, still sees your worth, and still is blessing you, even if, and he can't? Go find your Eve. The moment that you are able to find your Eve, you will be able to notice when your Adam has identified who you are. Because he knows. He calls it out. That's my rib. He shows a level of submission. That's why Adam chose to partake in the apple along with her. They were submitted onto each other. Right? But here's the kicker. Because Eve did not know her kingdom identity at the time, she put her Adam at risk. As we all know, the downfall to the human race. So if you don't know who you are, it always comes back down to accountability at the end of the day. If you don't know who you are, how do you expect to be able to identify who your Adam is? And how do you expect for him to see you for who you are? Where are you leading him? What are you suggesting? What are your actions suggesting? What is this settling that you're doing right now? The fact that you have allowed, remember, I truly feel that women have the capability to also, I don't think that only men dictate the momentum of the relationship, because at the end of the day, you get to set a standard to say, you get to reserve me for this long, and if you have not laid your life down alongside with me before God, then okay, I got places to be. My husband is waiting for me. He's waiting for me and ready to, okay? And then the day, it stems from fear. Like I said, you need to go find your Eve. You need to go connect with the source so you can figure out who you are. Because the reason to why you're scared of because let me tell you, it's actually intimidating to, if you don't notice, once you start to live an intentional life, it can be very intimidating to have intentional conversations. Because you people please, you're scared to offend somebody, you're scared of the outcome, you're scared of hearing something that you don't want to hear. A lot of times having intentional conversations lead you to hear things that you do not want to hear. But at the end of the day, it's ironic because those will be the catalyst to the red flags that you missed in the end when a situation does not work out. So the agitation that we get when things do not work out because we were not intentional is because of that lack of identity in self. Because identity in self would say, okay, you know what? I really care about you, but hold on, bruh. I really love you, but hold on, bruh. I'm doing this and that for you, but hold on, bro. And do not ever think that at any point in your life, you cannot reevaluate your life and say, okay, you know what? You owe it to yourself to say, you know what? I love you. I care for you. I know we were sleeping together. I know I've done this and that for you. I know I've stepped up and kind of adapted to the role of a wife in some ways for you. Because to be honest, we do things for people we care about. Because you deserve, especially when it comes to things of this nature, when it comes to being in a position to where you're procreating life. Because At the end of the day, your decisions, Eve, affect your children. Your lack of identity and self affect your children. It's ironic how there are a lot of people who are coming out the matrix at the same time. There's a reason to why it seems as though the fact that cohabitation is on the skyrocket right now. You know why? False kingdom. Now, cause this is where the daisy and the doozy comes in. Listen, so not only are you under the trance of I'm somebody's fake girlfriend. That's why they say you acting like I'm somebody's fake wife. That's what they say. You cooking, you cleaning, you doing this and doing that, whatever. Y'all adapting certain roles for each other, whatever. And that cloud, on top of the fact that y'all are playing house together, really makes your subconscious feel like you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. False security. So at the same time, you really cannot say like, oh, I don't understand how I missed the fact that he ain't commit to you. Why do you think? Why do you think? Just because we've seen everybody else doing, people on television or people in, I don't know, your family, you've seen it, does not mean that it's okay. So I just want to urge you guys to be able to figure out, where is your Eve and what made her, because remember, the serpent in the garden questioned her in such a way that made her think about and realize and come to terms with the fact that she did not know something, which made her intrigued to go out here and get all these, to eat the apple, to get something that she wasn't supposed to have anyway. So what spoke into your life? What circumstance happened in your life to make you question who you were? What catalyst thing happened in your life? Was it incest? Was it rape? Was it an abortion? Was it, I don't know, mother wound? Was it a father wound? What happened in your life? Was it bullying? And right there is where you lost your Eve. And that's why healing is so important. It's going to be a difficult situation to go through, but you got it. You have someone who is on the main line 24/7 to help you. Just follow your needs before him, and he will get you to where you need to be. It's going to be difficult. You have to feel before you heal. But you can do it. You can get there. You deserve to be there. You really do. You deserve to feel confident in yourself and not feel this sense of anxiety and anxiousness because I wonder if he's gonna, I wonder how is this gonna, okay, if not him, then somebody else. If he don't respond in a way that makes you feel good about yourself, then okay, somebody else is going to appreciate the fact that you're forward. Somebody else is going to appreciate the fact that you know what you want. Somebody's going to appreciate the fact that you understand what value you bring. Don't let somebody in because they don't know who they are at this point make you feel less than yourself and make you compromise and settle for what God has for you. Be real with yourself. Ask yourself questions in your head. Okay, Ebony. Now, you've always said, now, should I be open? And look at this. Just because you're open and you give somebody an opportunity, the fact that you are getting the data and allowing yourself to receive the data so you can ask these type of questions to yourself when you go out on these dates and things of that nature, that's what helps you. Stop moving so fast. like this. Truly, like I said, if you going out, you should make it a thing to where if you're going to be dating somebody, let the dates that are like the movie, somewhere quiet where you really can't, have conversation with them, let those be few. You know what I'm saying? Like, let that be on the upside because you guys are growing closer to each other instead of just expecting certain things from the get go. I personally hate going to the movies. I'd rather go to a drive-in, but I'm not a movie person. So, I like things I can actually sit down and talk to somebody, like things I can actually sit around and interact with each other. Like going to a museum. I love that. You get to pick the person's brain. Like, you get to see, oh, do you like this picture? Oh, for real? Like, I would have this type of stuff in my home. You see how you get to know a person? You get to see what their vision is. What I have to actually ask them what their vision is in certain ways. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's being in certain areas. Go out to the park. Say, oh, I like this tree. Oh, you know what? My parents, they had trees like this in their house. And my grandma has stuff like that. You get to see a person's upbringing in certain types of ways. You don't get that from a movie. Because what do? You go to the movie, you sit there, you talk about the movie, you go home. Get out, do interactive things to where you guys can actually, like I said, provoke those questions within each other so you can truly get to know that person. That's how you do it. That's how you get to know a person. How do you get to know your friends? Bringing things up and you have to really be intrigued on getting to know a person. A lot of times you only be trying to get to figure out. A lot of times the problem in dating is also you trying to get validated by this person. You trying to get so stuck up on the compliments of a person. Yes, that should be that's nice to get compliments from a person. At the same time, like, that's all they say. It might tell you look good, but it's what's behind it that makes it mean even more. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I will see you on the next episode. Remember, I am a woman who is simply evolving. Keep growing, keep elevating, keep evolving. You owe it to yourself. See you guys in the next episode.